de colores se visten los campos de la primavera.
Cesar Chavez stands alongside Martin Luther King Jr. as one of the most significant civil rights figures in the second half of the 20th century. He focused the eyes of the nation on the conditions of America's farm workers, the grinding poverty, the conditions in the fields, the effects of constant exposure to pesticides, and the lack of protection under labor law. In the spring of 2000, the California Senate signed into law Bill 984. Through this legislation, California joined Texas and Arizona in recognizing the life and work of Cesar Chavez. Schools across the state set aside time in the month of March to celebrate the life and lessons of this great leader through community service activities and programs. And so today, March 31st, 2007, I would like to honor all that he worked and stood for by revisiting a 2003 interview with CSUS professor Maria Mejorado, in which she shares her memories of growing up in migrant labor camps and continuing the legacy of Cesar Chavez.
So can you imagine when you were 4 or 5 years old? Working wasn't something that many of you didn't have to think about. So we had to get up very early in the morning. And working out in the fields, we didn't have the amenities that we take for granted today, such as a running toilet out in the 1960s and the 70s when I worked out in the fields. So what was hard and embarrassing when I was about your age, 10, 11, 12, was having to find a place to take care of my personal needs. And that's something I'm very thankful for Cesar Chavez about, because he was the one who made it possible, among many other things that you've all studied, the whole idea that people who work out in the fields, even though it's hard work, even though it's dirty work because you're working in the fields in the dirt, that people had to keep their dignity. And having a bathroom is an important thing to have to keep your dignity. So while it was very hard, there were also good things to think about working out in the fields. When you treat people well, when you offer what they need, people remain loyal and they do even better work. If you treat people well, they'll do more for you than if you treat them poorly. And I think that's the bottom line.